Because in a comfortable position, you are not really acting out. You are not using your body. Like, think of the film Wall-E, right? And you've got all these fat people in these big chairs. And they're not acting. They're not moving their body. They're not putting action into the world. They are just perpetuating the functions of their mind. And what are they doing? They're consuming all these things. They're in a comfortable position. They don't need to move. They don't need to face adversity. They don't need to face the unknown. Everything that they occupy themselves with is what they know and what they are given. You know, they've, you could say, fallen to the matrix of the feminine or the devouring mother or something like this, because they are just consuming what is being given to them by the thing which controls them, which they have allowed to control them fundamentally. And now you have situations where it's like people are always going on about dopamine levels, or people need to go on a dopamine detox because they're stimulating their minds in an artificial way so much that it's not actually real anymore. It's like a hyper-real simulation in which they're stimulating towards their mind. And, like things like social media. And it's crazy because it's all got to do with the mind. It's got nothing to do with the body. And we're having all of these issues in our modern society with individuals who are completely covered with anxiety, social anxiety, all of these issues, depression, and we're living in a world where we're only stimulated by the mind, and we're living in comfortable situations. Even the whole idea of the Great Reset, or the, you own nothing, be happy, is based on this idea of comfort. It's based on this idea that you will be comfortable and you will be happy because we're just going to allow you to be comfortable, and that's what you want, what you don't want. And the idea that you're going to rent everything, you're not going to own anything, you're not going to have any responsibilities, because responsibilities actually make your life more meaningful. So it's like, you see this is a mirroring of this same problem, where they want you to be cowards. These individuals who are high up, elitists, who are like wanting to fulfill even this agenda, let's say as an example, they want you to be cowards. Because they don't want you to fulfill your own potential, and they want you to own nothing and be happy. They don't want you to own yourself. They don't want you to own your own vitality. They want to drain it from you, and then they want to like keep it for themselves and then sell it off to something or whatever and make loads of money. And it's not even about money, really. It's more about power. Because you could say that's more of the masculine drive. It's about power. It's about domination, you could say, in a sense, rather than money. Like people say, I want to make loads of money, but really it's like you want to have power over your own life, power over situations that you want to fulfill and want to be in control of, so that other people don't take control of you. That's like a biological instinct to have your own, to have your own place in which you are in power of. So it's crazy. You can apply these things to all of these other fundamental changes in modern society, to the interpersonal level, psychologically, and then to the more macrocosmic level, whether it be to do with how they don't want you to be self-sufficient, or they want to put something in your hand, or a microchip in your hand like they do in Sweden, or like as they're trying to start up in Sweden. Because they don't want you to be responsible. They want to be the ones in which take away your responsibilities. And that's when you get the womb idea of you living and existing in a metaphysical womb, or metaphorical, womb, where everything's just kind of taken care for you, and you're very vulnerable, but you don't have any backbone to support yourself in any of these situations, because the backbone's been ripped out of you. You haven't evolved enough to have a backbone, and that's again another fundamental thing that they want. They like metaphorically take the backbone out of these individuals and put them in a womb where they're completely vulnerable, but we look after them, and we don't look after them, we drain their potential fundamentally. So yeah, that's how I kind of see these things, and it's like, this is the situation And this is kind of the ancestral element of trauma, because it limits our potential. It limits what we can be or could be in the future. And we all want to be the best versions of ourselves. You know, no, if you like could go to God and you could like choose all the things that you'd want to be, you'd be like, oh, I want to be successful in this, I want to be confident, I want to achieve all of this, I want to have my own self-sufficient kind of financial system, I want financial freedom, I want freedom of movement, I want to be, you know, all of these things. You wouldn't pick, oh, I want to be anxious and awkward in social situations, I want to be, you know, physically weak, or I don't want to be able to like be financially free, I want to be a slave to the 9-to-5 job system, blah blah blah. Like, you wouldn't pick those things, would you? And this is it. It's our society doesn't motivate the individuals within it to push beyond these limitations in which the society, which doesn't support our own people fundamentally, want to see in others. So it's like, and we need to change this fundamentally. We need to put a dent into this. One example of how I am personally trying to put a dent into this issue, or at least to offer something to individuals, is that I'm building out a program which is a network of coaches. And this network of coaches is basically a place or a tribe in which people can join so they can come to understand themselves and develop elements of themselves in which they want to develop. So for example, we've got people on this coaching program, coaching network program, which are involved in personal training, fitness, nutrition, psychology, elements of spirituality that we're going to interfuse and interject with psychology to help the kind of like interpersonal development with individuals and clients that come on. We've got people who are doing finances, so people who want to develop their financial freedoms, whether it be like through DeFi, crypto, hedge funds, stocks, any of these things. We're developing a platform for people to come on where it's a community who want to develop themselves in these different elements. It's not just specific, it's not just for this type of person or anything. It is for people who want to find their own tribe in a place in which so many people are alienated, because we live in a alien nation. It's alienation. This world's alienated, and we need to find some sort of, we need to tackle the problem of these fundamental issues to build spaces and communities where we can help individuals. And this is not like we're gonna tell you how to be this and how to be that, like so many other coaching programs, especially in the manosphere or the manosphere red pill community. There's so many programs that try to basically, I see it as indoctrinate young men to be what the coaches want to see in them, to kind of like emanate themselves in like a narcissistic way. And we're not for that. We basically want to give tools. It's like an anti-coaching program. We want to give people tools so that they can apply it to their own lives and infuse it into themselves, to educate themselves, to allow themselves to develop free thinking. Because education doesn't even exist anymore. Like, education is so that you can think for yourself. It doesn't exist. And that's what we want to actually achieve, is for people to allow themselves to educate themselves, to give them the tools they need to develop those aspects of their lives that they want to develop. And that's fundamental to the program. We basically want you to fire us because we want to do the job so well. And that's what we're doing. We've got all sorts of people involved in this. So if you want to get involved, go down to the link in the description or in the pinned comment section. You can get a free consultation call, which is completely free. You can just call up on the program. One of my guys will be talking to you, or myself, and we're going to basically go through with you what the program's all about, how we can apply the program to what you're seeking, and vice versa. And you're also going to fall into a community where you're going to be able to communicate with people who are seeking the same things as you are, but in different ways. So, and also there's going to probably be a discount with it as well, because we're running a pilot program for it, and we want to get at least the first 30 people on board with it to kind of, for the first month, experience it as much as possible, so that we can then develop it out as much as we can to make it as best as we can. So yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure to go in the link down below, check it out, check out the landing page. You'll be able to find out all the coaches who are involved, what they've been doing, what they've done in the past, their credentials, their qualifications, everything like that, and they'll see you inside.